Ashgrove Village was once a picturesque, quiet community, nestled between dense forests and rolling hills. But over the years, it's become known as the Village of the Damned, abandoned and desolate, left to crumble under the weight of its haunted past. People speak of a curse, one that has plagued the village since the early 1800s, when a series of mysterious deaths turned the town into a living nightmare. Tonight, we uncover the terrifying truth behind the Curse of Ashgrove Village and the horrific events that forced its residents to flee, never to return. In the 19th century, Ashgrove was a thriving town with a population of nearly 500. It was a place where families lived peacefully, where children played in the fields, and where the townsfolk gathered every evening in the village square. But one winter, a strange illness swept through Ashgrove, claiming the lives of many children. The villagers became desperate, searching for someone to blame. That's when they turned their wrath upon Eleanor Blackwood, a mysterious woman who lived on the edge of the village. She was accused of witchcraft, accused of cursing the town with her dark powers. And in their fear and anger, they sentenced her to death. Eleanor's final words, whispered with a chilling calmness, were, "You will all suffer as I have suffered." And so, the Curse of Ashgrove began. After Eleanor's death, strange occurrences plagued the village. Crops withered overnight, livestock died without explanation, and the river that ran through the village turned a dark, murky red. People claimed to see Eleanor's ghost wandering the streets at night, her face twisted in agony, her eyes burning with fury. The children of Ashgrove began disappearing one by one, and those who vanished were never found. Fear took hold of the town, but no one dared speak Eleanor's name, for they believed doing so would summon her vengeful spirit. Years passed, and the village grew quieter, with families leaving in fear, abandoning their homes. But in the 1920s, a family from out of town, the Hawthornes, moved into Ashgrove, unaware of its dark history. Sarah and Thomas Hawthorne, along with their two children, Lucy and Daniel, saw the village as a fresh start. They renovated an old farmhouse, determined to make a life there. The villagers kept their distance, whispering behind closed doors, afraid of what the newcomers might awaken. Little did the Hawthornes know that they were walking straight into the heart of the curse. Within days, strange things began happening. The family would hear footsteps in the night, soft and shuffling, like someone was walking barefoot through the halls. Doors would creak open by themselves, and objects would move as if unseen hands were playing tricks. One night, young Lucy woke up screaming, claiming she had seen a woman with hollow eyes standing by her bed, reaching out to her. Thomas tried to reassure his family, convinced it was all a product of their imaginations, but Sarah began to sense a dark presence lingering in the house. It was as if the shadows themselves were alive, watching and waiting. Determined to understand what was happening, Sarah spoke to an elderly villager named Mr. Allen, who reluctantly shared the town's dark history. He told her of Eleanor Blackwood, the curse, and the many children who had vanished since her death. He warned Sarah that Eleanor's spirit would not rest until she had claimed enough lives to satisfy her anger. Terrified, Sarah returned home, determined to leave Ashgrove. But Thomas, stubborn and skeptical, refused. He didn't believe in curses or ghosts. But that night, he too would experience something that would change his mind forever. Late one evening, as the family sat by the fire, Lucy began to act strangely. Her eyes glazed over, and she started speaking in a voice that wasn't her own, whispering words in a language no one understood. Her skin grew pale, her body shivering despite the warmth of the fire. She stared at her family, unblinking, and in a voice that sounded eerily like Eleanor's, she said, "You will all suffer as I have suffered." The family was horrified, realizing that Lucy was possessed by the vengeful spirit of Eleanor Blackwood. That night, they barricaded themselves in their rooms, praying that morning would come quickly. Desperate to save their daughter, Sarah returned to Mr. Allen, who revealed that there was only one way to break the curse. According to legend, Eleanor's spirit was bound to a locket she wore in life, a locket that was rumoured to be buried with her in an unmarked grave outside the village. If the locket could be found and destroyed, her spirit would be freed and the curse lifted. Sarah and Thomas, with Mr. Allen's reluctant guidance, set out in the dead of night to find Eleanor's grave, hoping to end the nightmare that had taken hold of their family. As they searched the overgrown graveyard, the wind howled through the trees, and a thick fog rolled in, obscuring their path. They dug frantically, their hands raw and bleeding, until they found the locket, buried beneath layers of earth and rotting wood. But as they lifted it from the ground, a chilling laugh echoed through the air, and Eleanor's ghost appeared before them, her face twisted in rage. She lunged at them, her spectral form radiating with fury, but Sarah, with tears streaming down her face, smashed the locket against a gravestone. Eleanor's scream pierced the night, and her spirit faded, leaving only silence. The curse was lifted, and the village returned to an uneasy peace. But the experience left the Hawthorne family forever scarred. They left Ashgrove the next morning, abandoning the village like so many before them. Over the years, Ashgrove remained empty, the houses falling into decay, the streets silent. And though the curse was broken, people still claim that on certain nights, you can hear Eleanor's laughter in the wind, a reminder of the horrors that once haunted Ashgrove Village. Thank you for joining us on EerieTales. Some places are marked by pain and anger, scars that even time cannot heal. Ashgrove Village stands as a testament to the consequences of cruelty and vengeance. So if you ever find yourself near an abandoned village, remember this story and think twice before you enter.